Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be making a realistic Schleich horse barn using an old cereal box and some other easy to access craft supplies like lolly sticks and things like that. I'm particularly excited about this video because I haven't actually done a making a stable using cardboard video on my channel before. And it's how I got into making Schleich barns, and literally I've made so many cardboard barns before my wooden ones, so it feels right that I'm doing this video today. Also, my horse/pony helpers for today are Peach, this guy right here, and Jet. So without further ado, let's get into the crafting. The first step is to select yourself a good cardboard box. Now I've gone for the classic cereal box, though there's lots of different options you could go for at this point. Then I just dismantled the cereal box and began cutting it into the sections of the fold, so I didn't have to work around that. I just had big sheets of cardboard. Now I used the largest sheet as the base for my stable, and two of the smaller wings I folded in half down the middle to get rid of the neon yellow Weetabix side, because nobody wants to see that. But yeah, I folded them in half to make them more sturdy and to make it thicker because the cereal box cardboard is quite thin. And then I used my preheated hot glue gun to attach it to the base and the wall I'd already glued down. So I just used one big strip and then sandwiched the wall on top of that. It was already easier than using wood because I was just able to bend the sheet of cardboard round, so I didn't have to do two small parts for the front wall. I was just able to continue the wall round and got that nice curve, which I really liked. And then after securing the three walls that I glued down to the base, this is what we're looking like. I think it's sort of starting to resemble a stable, so I think that's a good sign. Then I got out the first lolly sticks and cut the ends off of them so they'd lay flat against a surface. And these are going to be the sort of structural supports of the barn, so I am just going to glue those into kind of all of the key points along the side of the wall. After that, this is what the barn is looking like. It's looking pretty good, so we're going to move on to the back wall. I am going to use another folded over piece of the cereal box and just glue it on top of the one that's originally there. Basically, just so it's extra cozy for the horse or pony that is inside. Now I am starting with barring between the supports, so I am using wooden skewers, and I am gluing those to the three points that it touches the supports. This will be to prevent any cheeky horses/ponies from attempting to jump out of the stable, because right now the wall is quite low compared to a big horse, and we really don't want horses loose around the barn. So yeah, we're going to try and prevent that by putting up barring. And after repeating it on all of the sides, this is kind of where we're at, and I am really liking the look of it. It's made it a lot more detailed and realistic already, so that was definitely a good move. Now I'm going to make a start on the roof. So I got two sheets of cardboard that were the same size. They were the same size also as the base. And I folded the edge of one of the larger sheets over so it made like a flap that I could glue the other one to, so it made a triangle. And then after gluing those together, I also chose to add some extra detail to the roof by using wooden cocktail sticks. No, not cocktail sticks, skewers. I used wooden skewers again along all four of the edges to add a little bit of, detail, I guess. Then I went back to the whole barn and started fiddling around with the structural supports I had already glued in, because I came to the conclusion that they needed to be different heights to make the roof accessible so you could actually get into the stable. Yeah, that's basically what I'm talking about. And I adjusted the different heights of all of them so it sort of made a slope downwards, and it was quite time consuming, but I definitely think it was worth it because it means that I can see into the barn. Now here is the critical moment where I was gluing the roof onto the barn. Honestly, I think it's probably as tense as watching something like a spaceship land on the moon. It felt like that big of a moment. And very thankfully, we are out of that very terrifying step, and we made it out without any disasters, so that's a bonus. Now moving on to the next stage. So I've got these wooden roof supports that are sort of rounded, sort of flat. I'm not sure where they're from, but they were floating around my craft box and I had two of them. So I thought they'd be good for this, and I needed to use them up anyway. So yeah, we're using them for roof supports, and gluing them at angles to the middle pole is the best way I came up with for making a roof support basically. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, so I'd recommend doing that. Now, of course, we have to repeat on the other side, otherwise we're going to have a very lopsided roof. And thanks to the power of editing, we are now finished with the roof supports, which are looking excellent, might I add. So at this stage, the barn is looking good, but you know what? We need to take it to the next level because good is not enough. So I am going back in with my various wooden sticks that I've just got left over, and I'm adding more detail to the barn because you can never have enough detail on a small little stable. And the first thing I'm adding is not cocktail sticks, the skewers. I'm adding more skewers to the inside of these two sort of doorway posts here because you could still see the Weetabix yellow poking through and I didn't love that. So yeah, I needed to cover that up immediately. Then with the same wooden skewers, I got it right that time, as before, I am going back in and adding extra barring to the sides here because, you know what, I thought about it, and if a horse really, really wanted to, and they had a pile of apples on the other side of that stable, I reckon they would jump that. So to try and combat this issue, I am adding in a second row of these, of this barring, and I am more confident now that this would hold back a hungry horse. Also, if you're doing this step as well, just make sure and trim off the edge of the sharp skewer because I did that a second ago and yeah, I thought it was worth pointing out. Now, excellent. This is one side done. It's looking very detailed, much more secure, and here is Snowy to demonstrate the fact that she can't get out anymore. Now I need to do the other side, but before that I just admired my handiwork. And then, yeah, just went ahead and repeated the same step on the other side. Another tip is if you can, try and line up this new pole you're putting in with the join of the lolly sticks. So if you see the one in the middle, there's the join where I added in the extra bit on top. And I try to line this new stick up with that as best as possible because it kind of looked like it was all supposed to fit together, if that makes sense. Cool, now let's skip ahead quite a lot because I faffed around with that for ages. Now the next step, quite literally, happens to be a step. So I am putting in a step between the two gateway entrance posts here because I thought, well, if I put in bedding, then it's all just going to slide right out. So yeah, we're putting in a step to prevent that happening. Also, it kind of makes it more realistic, so that's a good thing. I made the height of the step with coffee stirrers so it wasn't too steep, otherwise that would have been a trip hazard. And then the flat bit across the top was just a regular lolly stick. At this point, I'd recommend putting in a gate. For some reason, I didn't. I just wasn't feeling it that day. I don't know what happened. I just was thinking, oh, it can be a field shelter, that's fine. But yeah, I'd recommend putting in a gate, otherwise your horse is just going to walk off. And finally, we are at the final step. I mean, let's just pause a moment. Oh, no, okay. I'm jumping straight in with the chalk pastels. That's fine. Okay, so the final step is painting without paint. Instead, we're using these, nasty looking chalk pastels, but they do the trick. We just basically need brown and black, and we have that in that pot. So, yeah, I'm taking an old paintbrush that's quite firm, those ugly chalk pastels, and I am going to go to town with aging the wood. Well, I say wood, it's cardboard, but making the cardboard look like aged wood. So it's quite an exciting step. I like the step because it's really creative and you sort of, use your imagination. I'd recommend putting something down on your table, your nice white table, before you do this, because it's very dusty, surprisingly. Something I didn't clock until after I'd started. So just go in and, I recommend just going in really dark, or don't be afraid to use black, because the black looks really cool, and horses are messy. They're messy creatures, so there's a lot of grime and, dust around their stable, so it's very realistic when you add that colour. Now, after working on both of the sides, I went inside the barn, and this is when I came up with a pretty cool idea that I think made a big difference, and that was to sort of show where the water runs when it rains in the barn. So obviously there's a gap on that back wall, and I thought, there's probably going to be water getting in there, so yeah, I used my black chalk and made straight lines down, and I think it looked really, really effective. And yeah, definitely made the barn look quite old and worn, which I thought was quite a cool effect. And now finally, we have got to the moment you have all been waiting for, the reveal. We have literally come from a bright yellow cereal box. We've been on an emotional journey, frankly. There's been some ups and downs, but we have finally finished. So let's take a look at what the barn looks like. Ta-da! It's looking great. I'm so pleased with how it came out. This was my first time using chalk pastels on a cardboard barn, and yeah, I can't believe how cool it looks. I'm obsessed, frankly, and so is Banjo. He's loving it. Look at his little face there. And we've got that little foal in the back who's also enjoying scratching around. I can't remember what I called that one. I don't think I ever came up with a name for it. Anyway, that's besides the point. I will sort that out later. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you had a go at making one by yourself at home, then I hope it went well and I hope you're pleased with it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can find this video later when maybe you're trying to make a cardboard barn of your own. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next Schleich horse video. Bye!